So she wants to teach you about what's going to happen to your body. She wants to walk you through it. She wants to be there when you give birth and reassure you and all of that. You can't do that in the public healthcare system, especially. There are no beds. Some moms are sitting in the passages and the benches. I mean, my sister literally 3 days ago was telling me of an experience where her friend nearly gave birth on a bench as well. You need someone who will listen to you. You need someone who will, when you say, oh, I feel this now, is it normal for them to say, it is normal, but relax and breathe this way, whatever. But you're not going to get that with our system currently. One of my biggest frustrations and maybe sadness that I feel regarding society and how motherhood is perceived is that society has glamorized motherhood and romanticized it. Motherhood is one of the best things you'll ever experience in your life, right? It is beautiful to give life, to bring forth life into this world and to love this baby and all of those things. It's amazing. Yeah. But we need to paint the whole picture, not just, this cute bundle of joy, not romanticize motherhood and say, and only show pink cute strollers on Instagram, the nurseries, because also, let's face it, that's not the reality for the majority of the mothers in South Africa. No, right? But it is it's majorly what we see online. So in the first 2 weeks, approximately 2-3 weeks, moms tend to cry a lot. They become very overwhelmed easily, right? And these are called baby blues. Very common. Okay, so I'll say that again. They're very common. 1 minute the mom is crying, 1 minute the mom is happy. It's just then they're overwhelmed. Then they like tossing and turning.
Sanbonani. Hello, we are back.
Yes.
This is the second part of we had a rough one. I'm we're diving deep into motherhood. We're diving deep into challenges that are faced by new mothers, particularly. We're about diving deep with issues on the healthcare system, issues that generally we are faced with. These are realities that we are faced with in SA, while being one of the highest. I mean, I think Andy mentioned stats of 1 in 3 mothers. That's 33%. That's 33% of women giving birth are not going to have a good experience. And so that's where we ended off last, just talking about how those mishaps and those issues play out in their lives. And so welcome, my lovely person there at home, to Isiyalo Overflow. And we are continuing. If you haven't watched the first insert, please go back and watch it so that this can come into context. And if you haven't subscribed, please pause right now. Go back. You didn't knock. Go back. Subscribe. Yeah. Welcome, Andy, again.
Thank you.
I hope you are refreshed.
I am.
Right.
Thank you.
We ended off on the last recording speaking about baby blues.
Yeah.
I think let's start there. And I think the context was, how do these play out for the teen mom? Because we want to now bring the truth outside, instead of the quote unquote romanticized
Yeah.
version of motherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, firstly, maybe let me also say that this is very important for young moms to know.
Yeah.
But I also want to say that it affects all
All
moms, right?
mothers.
But the magnitude is a lot bigger, for younger
For young
moms,
mom. Yeah.
because they are they're not even at a stage where they understand themselves,
Yeah.
and having to deal with these things and having to take care of a newborn or a baby is quite hard, right? So yes, baby blues, I said, they happen approximately for 2 weeks after someone has given birth, the mom has given
Okay.
birth. And what that person needs at that time is just patience, no judgment, and just safe spaces, creating like a safe space for them to express themselves. No saying, oh, why are you crying? Just be grateful your baby is healthy, or you've survived it, That's not what moms need to hear at that time.
Yeah.
Um, and then when we move from baby blues, we now need to look at postpartum depression.
Okay.
And these are blues that last longer than 2 weeks. So when you have very low moods from, let's say, 3 weeks to like months, right? And because I don't want to forget anything, I did jot them down a bit. So I'll be looking down if
Please,
that's okay.
please, we need it. We need you
Yeah.
to look down on it.
So, here with postpartum depression, so this is something that is, I mean, when you speak about postpartum, people usually use it as a synonym for postpartum depression, but that's not correct. You can be in postpartum because it's just fourth trimester
Okay.
without being depressed. I have to
Oh,
also say
okay.
that, right? So sometimes people say, they've got postpartum. That is not, postpartum is not an illness, it's a period.
It's a period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So postpartum depression, it's persistent sadness, right? Frequently crying, feeling very disconnected from the baby, not wanting to be with the baby at all, withdrawing from everyone around you, and also having like self neglect habits. So maybe you don't want to wash, you're not taking care of yourself, you're just always in maybe in PJs, you're not changing them, you're just not feeling okay, and you're just very disconnected from everyone and everything, right? And you're just crying, you have regret, like deep regret,
Yeah.
because of having a baby, and then feeling guilty because you've had this baby, because you're feeling regret, and it's just a constant cycle that doesn't end, right? So a lot of something as well that needs to be taken note of is also losing interest, complete interest, even in things that you used to love, right, for long periods of time. And something I also need to say is that it's very difficult sometimes to spot someone who has postpartum depression, because society does not allow women, especially moms, to express those things, because you've just given birth. You're supposed to be so happy. So what do you mean you're not feeling okay? Snap out of it. Have you tried being cheerful? Things like that. Um, and sometimes, because women are really just generally going through all these changes in hormones, right? Some of these things can be normal, but the indicator that it's depression is if it lasts for long periods of time. So if you feel like it's been a month and I'm not snapping out of it, that's when you need to seek medical attention, right? So of course, in those first 2 weeks, you're overwhelmed. There's a new baby crying every 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
You don't have time to watch your favorite series, to go play tennis or whatever. So it's normal for you to not even feel like it. It's normal for you to not want visitors sometimes. So there's a very thin line that we all have to be aware of. So the time it's taking for a mom to come out of this, I would say, like cloud, is an indicator of whether it's depression or just hormonal baby blues. Okay, so that's one. Another one that
Yes.
is hardly spoken of enough is postpartum anxiety. Okay,
Okay.
so anxiety it comes from worry, but it's constant worry that doesn't stop.
Yes.
So if you worry for long periods of time, it becomes anxiety. Okay. So here, this is constant worrying about baby's health, racing and intrusive thoughts, restlessness, physical stress symptoms, over checking baby, unable to trust others around your baby. So you're not even giving yourself time to get out and get some fresh air. You're just constantly worried about, are they gonna die? Will I find my baby not breathing? Will this person be able to take care of them? All of those things. And this is a type of person that also needs assurance and shared care and rest. But if it's prolonged as well, they need to seek medical attention. So I'll give you an example for me of postpartum anxiety.
Yeah.
And okay, so what I want to say before I share this example is that often motherhood unravels traumas that you thought you were over,
That you thought you dealt with.
that you thought, even if you didn't deal with them, but because they happened a long time ago, you think, ugh, they're behind me now.
Yeah.
Motherhood is almost like a mirror sometimes, because when that baby comes, all your past experiences come back sometimes, a lot of the times actually. So some of the postpartum illnesses that people face, basically childbirth triggers them to come back. I don't know if this is the right language that I'm using, but basically motherhood shows you that you never got over that, you know. So for me, I had postpartum anxiety as well, and this is how it showed up. So my history with the loss of my mom is that one night or early morning, a man came into our home, an intruder, burnt our house down, set the house on fire and it burnt. And the people that died in that fire was my mom and my little sister. The people who survived was me and my older brother, right? So we were left orphaned. So one of my biggest fears when I was pregnant was, will I even know how to mother? Because my biological mom is not going to be around to help me. I knew my aunts would be there,
Yeah.
but I feared that I wouldn't really know how to love my son the way a biological mom is supposed to love their baby.
Wow.
But that's not the point of this.
Yeah.
The anxiety came with intrusive thoughts. Okay. And it still happens up till today because my son is like still small. He's 2.5, right? I will randomly start thinking, if an intruder came here, how do me and my son get out? If a fire would start in the night, how would I make sure that my son is safe? Would I open the window and put him outside so he doesn't choke from the smoke? Well, how would I fight the intruder off? And I could literally be having the best day of my life, and I would think that I can't control it, you know. And I know it's something that I need to work on as well, because it's not something that I can honestly say I've dealt with.
Yeah.
It's something that I know I need to work on, you know. So that's how sometimes past traumatic events come back when you have a baby, right? And so if you can imagine, with the high level of crime in South Africa, a lot of moms have gone through a lot, and they can experience these thoughts as they mother, you know. And so that's just one way in which it plays out. So a lot of also anxiety comes also because, like I mentioned, oxytocin, which is the hormone that helps you really bond with the baby, protect the baby. Sometimes it puts you on overdrive. You know, sometimes you worried, like I'm sure a lot of moms will relate to this. You sometimes think, oh, I'm carrying this baby. There's a corner of the table right here. What if I bump his head, against this table? And if you're going upstairs or if you're going downstairs, you'll suddenly think, oh, if I were to drop this baby, it's just these worries that are constant, and if they really do, sometimes it's like danger signs. So like the mom's body kind of foresees danger, and then you're able to avoid it. But sometimes if it's too much and your mind is not racing, then you are not your best self at that point, and you may need extra help. You may need professional help. It's very good to actually get professional help,
Yeah.
just to rule out
Yeah.
any possible long-term effects, from if you have certain illnesses. So anxiety, like I mentioned, also from, yeah, it's overchecking the baby, unable to rest, restlessness. I mentioned that. Now I want to go into PTSD that is caused. Do you want to?
Post traumatic. Yeah.
Okay.
Before we go into that, I just want us to wrap this nicely.
Okay. Okay.
Um, we spoke about postpartum depression, and I just want to say to whoever's watching this that the previous. Okay, I'll post the link just up there. You'll see it. There's a video we did with Professor Lloyd Makangeni, and he said that depression is when your fantasies don't match your reality. And I think you said that. You walked right on top of that. You said, we have fantasized motherhood and it's nothing like what you are going to experience. So I think at the end of the day, if you happen to have maybe watching this while you are actually dealing with these issues, it is important to note that there are certain agreements that you need to come out of. And that speaks to even anxiety. For instance, the intruding thoughts. By the way, I'm no, not even by the way, I am truly sorry about what happened to mom and sister. Um, we have to now come into, we need to come out of the old agreements and come into new agreements. And how that looks like is, well, I believe that I am not safe, right, whenever I'm alone or whenever this is at. But the only way to break a cycle is to introduce a new cycle to override the old one. So there's no way you can say, okay, I'm going to break this cycle, I'm going to stop thinking about this. No, you're not going to stop thinking about it. But the best thing you can do is to introduce an override, a new cycle onto it. So for instance, perhaps, I don't know how this would work with other people, but for believers, for instance, it's if the intruding thought is, I'm not safe, okay, then perhaps now what I need to do is to introduce a counter every time I'm thinking of this thought. So for instance, if this thought comes and says, I'm not safe, I need to figure this out, and then I need to say, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for he is with me. So that replacement is what then in time, please no, please hear me right.
Yeah.
In time overrides the thought. You will not override it overnight. Please be
Yeah,
patient with yourself. Some say 21 days, some say more, but I will say in time you will wake up one day and say, oh, by default every time when I think of this has come over, and eventually it sort of takes over. I just needed to say
Yeah.
that because we can't just leave it at
Yeah.
at 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 diagnosis and not say ukuthi how. Okay, and I mean, at the end of the day, there are people like MumBelu and so forth that are there that you could reach out to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah? Yes.
Just to add on to that,
Please.
so one of the things that I've been trying to incorporate, so something that I do is I create pregnancy and postpartum care packages, right? And so these are just things that I it's like gift boxes that moms can get. And the reason why I did that was for moms to have moments of safety in their
Yes.
own homes, right? But in those boxes, I am now incorporating words of affirmations for moms, right?
Yes.
So that they, and I'm not saying in those words of affirmations, congratulations on your bundle of joy. What I'm saying is, this is hard, but you can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, well done. And I'm saying, rest is productive.
Yeah.
So take some time to rest.
Yeah.
I'm saying, it really does take a village. So bring your village closer.
Yeah.
Things like practical things that
Yes.
moms actually aren't used to hearing, but once they hear them, they'll realize that they're not crazy, they're not lacking for struggling with motherhood. It's it's normal, but it shouldn't be normal because it's not supposed to be done alone in isolation. And I want to say this again. I'm not here to demonize motherhood, please.
No, no, no.
So when I say motherhood is romanticized, I'm not saying that the pictures you see of people happy with their babies are not reality.
Some are true.
Some are very true. Why? Because people have support. The reality is, if you don't have support, it's going to be very, very difficult, right?
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say about this is words of affirmation are like a band-aid sometimes, but you need to deal with the root cause.
Yeah.
Right. So capacity, we need to work on the capacity of moms, enlarging their heart to be able to hold a lot, right? And what that looks like is really going out and seeking support from maybe local NGOs, NPOs around you, mental health institutions, all of those things. Because, for example, with me, if someone says, "Oh, just don't think about an intruder coming into your house," I want to not think about it. But the reality is, I need counseling. I need therapy to work through that.
Through it.
To do it alone, I can't do it alone, And it's amazing when I'm with my family and I'm like, oh, if an intruder were to walk in, we would all fight this person. Okay. It's not always going to be the reality. And if I'm with my partner, then I'm always like, oh, I feel so safe with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But the reality is the problem is still there.
Still there.
So we need to also make it normal, especially for Black moms, to seek therapy.
Yeah.
And if you're a mom to a teen and they're pregnant, please try by all means to take your daughter to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, I think I couldn't have said it better myself, because I was about to preach right there. Anyway, on the same on the same topic, how it plays out. And I'm gonna lay a foundation for this
Okay.
one. I'm a father,
Okay.
and I fathered two boys in a relationship that didn't make it. And I know one of the stresses come from postpartum depression and all of that. And of course, it's never black and white. We contribute as
gray
fathers into this as well. Luckily for me, I think there was my mom. My mom was there. The family of Mama Bantwana, they were also there. So there was a whole lot of support around us. But I know that the cot next to because it was on my side of the bed, that was the most stressful time. Like come on, like waking up at 2 and at 3 and at whatever time and still have to go to work. That's one of the most stressful times. And if I am stressed even and I don't understand these things, which I mean you've just shed light in the previous video, then I'm bound to not be helpful as a father. I'm bound to eject flights, and what are the other, in particularly the older mothers, married mothers, those who are in relationships, maybe. What have you experienced there?
So
Especially with the partners.
yeah.
It's complex.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, right, with my aunt and what she went through, there's a lot of lack in terms of support that moms have faced, right? But maybe what I can try and, how do I approach this? It's quite hectic, actually.
It is.
One of the things that I am championing is education.
Yeah.
Education will always, I believe, be at the forefront of revolutions, change, right? And we weren't always like this. Mothers weren't always overly burdened. It's unfortunately, a systematic error. And I'm going to say apartheid has played a huge role, especially in the black community, where moms bear the full brunt of childbearing, child rearing, you know. It's a long thing. We could spend days
And it's
talking
not just
about it.
apartheid, it's apartheid, neocolonialism,
Yes.
colonialism. So it
It's
has been a progressive press on it. So it's not
yes.
just apartheid. They were building on something that was created before, and they were building on something. So yes, I feel you.
So an interesting thing I came upon, and I'm still getting education on this.
Yes.
I pre-colonialism period, right? The women, okay. I don't know how true this is because I'm still
Let's
learning about
explore it.
Let's explore it.
We don't know it, right?
Yes.
So let's explore it.
But it was amazing for me to learn it. Okay.
Okay.
It was shared by Dr. Chabalala. I'll maybe when you post the video, you'll have the name.
Cool.
I'll have given you the name. She asked, she was on a podcast and she said, do you know that women, because of their fertility and ability to birth life, to bring forth lives into the world, back before colonialism, they were the ones that took care of the ground,
Umhlaba.
umhlaba, because it was seen that because the earth, you plant in it and it sprouts and it produces, vegetation and stuff, and people live off it. It's fertile ground, right? Women were likened to the ground and they were respected and honored for that. And they knew. So the duty of the woman is in the kitchen was not just something flimsy. It's because they took care of the ground and they knew what herbs would help the family. It was, the duty was revered, right? It was sacred, right? And so by virtue of them understanding the ground and how it works, they were the ones that often traded, So Mina, I've got beans. That place there, they've got cabbage. So we trade. It was not really monetary, but it was literally about what we have and all of that, right? And so the women would go to the fields in the morning and they would plow. So who took care of the kids? It was the man.
The man.
Right? Okay.
I want to interject. I think we are exploring the
Yes,
thought.
we're exploring.
Yeah. I also obviously don't have substantial proof. But I have a garden and I work on the garden. I am most happiest processing than being there. So they becomes more of my quiet time, of my prayer time and whatever. But naturally, I am more happy when I'm processing the stuff that I do there. To add on to that, if we were to remove the dependency on the system that we have right now, we would find that we need veggies, fruits and veggies. Okay, fruits are I mean, you just tend the tree and that's all. But you need fruits and veggies, and you need meat if you're a meat eater. And if you look at that, it's not black and white. There's a lot riding on that. If you are to look at livestock, there's security that is involved. That involves fencing, that involves other support, sub support of animals like dogs, geese, and all of those things, which also need maintenance. And there's processing of even if there's plowing of the ground, there are support systems that are built that need to support this also, composting and so forth. So if you look at it, if you are to submerge you and your partner in that type of living, you quickly realize, Uguti, the fantasy of me being a stay-at-home, meaning being in the house while he is outside, is a fantasy. It's not gonna happen because these functions need to happen simultaneously daily, which means divide and conquer.
Yes.
So the evidence that, I mean, the so let me not say evidence, but the exploration that I know, it substantiates that if the mom is not in the field, then surely uyolusa, and that's not what we know. We already know that it's little boys,
Yes.
abolusa and
Yes.
abobaba, take care of that, the slaughtering, the processing of the slaughter, and more other functions there. So I'm saying, even though I don't know, doc, and if I don't know if this information is true, but I can back it up in the spirit of exploration by saying that.
Yes, yes. So yes, so maybe so then the moms would, you know, work on the field and they would come back and then
Yes.
they would cook the food and nurture the family, right?
Yes.
And then well, let me not say apparently because it makes it like very unfactual. But the Dr. Chabalala then goes and explains that when the colonizers came, they looked and saw, the men aren't working, they don't work, they just they don't have anything to do, no, not realizing that they are taking care of the kids while the moms are out in the fields working the ground, right? And then so, things happened in history, and then the men were taken from the families, and then the women had to bear the kids and raise them, and that somehow became our norm, where it's the mom's duty to do everything for the children, you know and not realizing that, first of all, there's trauma that the moms are also facing from being from their partners from taken away, the kids not growing with the fathers being present and all of that. Um, and so now it has become our norm, and no one frowns upon dads not taking care of their kids and what they call now like deadbeat dads, because our history has shown us that women can do it all, not realizing how much damage it has caused in these very same women, right? And so now what dads or what relationships, they're very difficult, especially when a child comes, because society or the world we live in now says moms are supposed to know it all, moms are supposed to do it all, moms don't need help, thinking that the system that was created is right, but it's not right, it's wrong. A lot has to be fixed, and part of that fixing is giving moms more support and sharing childcare.
Yeah, I can also add there. Firstly, I think what I need to say is that what we are discussing now, even it's not speculation per se. It's just following the crumbs, right? So I don't think it's speculation at all. It's just following the crumbs and looking at the evidence. Secondly, what I'll say is this: what we are speaking about is not an apparent thing. It's not a mistake thing, and I'm saying it's not like these colonizers came and saw that we had time and they did that. No. This is warfare. This is a planned strategy and capitalizing on these things, and and because the family was a woven structure that is both strategic and symbiotic in functioning. When you remove one piece, there's a collapse. And I will add and say that these systems of conquering nations that happen to us in all over the world, really, but in this context, we're speaking about our African spaces. When a mother is pressed into a corner, then what seems to happen is the there's now an enmity, or is it an asiyeke isilungu, kunobutha.
Yeah, yeah.
We are being now, there is now an issue of saying you are not doing enough. No, you are not doing enough.
Yes.
No, but you
yes.
need to be here. But no, you need to take care of this because I'm out doing that, bringing in that. Oh, but how does money help you when I'm plowing everything? Really, what am I going to do with that? And then there's I don't think this is important. I need you back in the home. Oh, you want me to be back in the home while other men are functioning outside? What am I going to do? And so then the fast forward, we are in a situation now where women don't see value in men and men don't see value in women. It's created it's not something new. And I think it's important to say this because when we are saying we are fixing, we need to lay the cards on the table so we know where to go. Yeah.
I'm always very scared to, delve in these waters because we live in a very, I would say, emotionally volatile time. It's very,
I hear you.
so you say one thing and then everyone's like, this podcast must be shut down or whatever.
Bleh.
And I'm in no way trying to do that.
Yeah.
But what I want us to look at is just ways, in order for us to fix, we need to know what went wrong, right?
True.
And what I'm saying is that older moms, they will tell you that the reason why some moms will even say, I don't want my child to get married because of the ill treatment I got. And a lot of the ill treatment happens when the babies are born because there's more responsibility.
Yeah.
And then one parent doesn't show up and expects the other parent to show up for themselves and for them.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. So I definitely think that the system has failed a lot of families, and the people who carry the weight of those failures tend to be moms.
Yeah.
And I think if if we all understood what moms carry, then we would help moms more. Because if a mom is helped, communities are helped. Honestly speaking, if a mom is okay, then there are higher chances of the family being okay as well. And I'm not saying this to sideline dads. Dads need also like a lot of attention, a lot of healing,
Yeah.
especially healing. We all need a rewiring of family structures, of just what makes us, what produces the best version of ourselves, so that partnerships like work, kids are taken care of, we are all taken care of. But what I will like, there's a lot that older moms and women have gone through, and what they are, I don't know, like to fix it would need a lot of truth telling and like very little finger pointing, but a lot of truth telling and saying, when I went through this, this is what I needed, but I didn't get it. But now, how do we create a world where moms that are coming into motherhood receive what they need to receive? And that's basically what I want to create as well. Last thing I'll say about this community. One of the things that I think Black people coined and will go far if we hold on to it as community. Even just with motherhood, you need that community. And the reason why I say this is because the world is forcing us into isolation.
True.
And we're not going to thrive. We're only going to go backwards. And an example is elephants. I always use elephants. If you go on YouTube and you watch elephant giving birth, you will immediately see that once that baby Ellie drops to the ground, the herd of matriarchs come and they surround that mom and that baby. And how they do it is they stomp the ground and they like raise a lot of dust up, right? To hide the baby from predators and to hide the mom that's not yet recovered from childbirth. It's matriarchs, right? And one can argue and say, but dads also need to be around, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm saying we can learn a lot from nature as well, right? That community is what will save us. Community is what will protect us. And if you bring that back and if you learn from our surroundings, with elephants, they stomp the ground so that they create fear from all predators, that if you come here to these two, you will definitely die, because we are willing to die for this family that has just been born. And the fathers as well, they fight off, elephant bulls fight off elephants and predators and stuff. So
Hey Tada, this is Ujablana Gamtomeni, the guy that sits behind the camera. One of the reasons you haven't seen me in front of the camera till now is because, well, we don't have enough facilities to facilitate a multi-cam podcast. But we are determined to bringing you all the information you need in your journey of wellness. We want to be part of your journey of healing, and we will do anything possible for us to be able to bring you relevant people who speak to various issues in our community. But we cannot do this without you. We need your comments, we need your likes, we need your shares, we need you to rave about us so that we can grow and bring more people in here, maybe even a panel for you eventually. So help us get to a very high number of subscriptions, help us get to a very, very high number of views, that we may be able to improve on the stuff that we bring you. We have demonstrated that we're capable of improving. If you don't believe me, check out the first video and compare it to today. I know we haven't reached a constant yet, but we are getting there, and we love you.
It's not.
Stay with us.
There's even a quote by Lelouch, which is a postpartum. Well, no, it's a perinatal, so it includes pregnancy and postpartum. It's an organization that has helpers online, healthcare workers online. I was shocked. They said breastfeeding is like learning how to walk. You don't just take a baby and put it on your breast and that's it.
So you actually have to learn how to breastfeed.
You have to learn how to breastfeed. You have to help the baby latch on your nipple properly. You have to learn, and it's not just about learning, because it's also difficult to teach, right? I mean, it sounds wrong, it sounds incorrect, but it's when you have the correct people next to you,
Yeah.
it can be easy.
It can be easy.
Because they are teaching you and they are holding the baby so that the baby can learn.
And
how
these are
to.
matriarchs.
These are the
people who have done it
matriarchs
before.
who have done it before. And nowadays, then it's your doula, it's your midwife, right? But if you go to a public hospital or a private hospital, the doctor will just, the nurses maybe will help you, but there's a specific lactation specialist. But I mean, if you guys are 30, you've got 30 maternity wards, what kind of quality attention are you going to get? So it's best if we equip the villages that these women will go one-on-one to have this knowledge so that no one is inadequately helped.
Yeah.
Another thing is breast milk does not come out of everyone. And it's not even about the size. In fact, the smaller the breast, the more milk you have, so, most of the time.
That's weird.
It's completely weird. And so for me, my milk came 3 days after my baby was born.
Oh my God. So in the 3 days.
So in the 3 days, we had to use formula. No one ever tells you that. And when I spoke to the Lelouch therapist, I said, my milk hasn't come. I said, no. So because we planned on breastfeeding,
Yeah.
because the milk hadn't come, we had to use formula, right? And so my son had nipple confusion. He was used to the
rubber.
plastic rubber
Yeah.
thing versus
Yeah.
mine, and did not want to latch on me. And so the person that I'm talking to online says, I tell her my son has nipple confusion because my breast milk did not come. It only came 3 days later. She says, oh, that's normal. Who's there to tell me and teach me that these things are happening?
And moms give up. Maybe like after 2 days, nothing is happening.
After a
Okay, we're
day,
going on to formula.
Right? We're going on to formula. And of course, those 3 days the baby needs to eat. So formula it is. But what's superior? It's the breast milk, right? Ultimately, fed is best.
And I'm thinking of situations where moms can't afford formula. And 2 days pass and this is not happening, and they start going to debt to get formula. Ekubeni kuwukuthi, if there was adequate information, they would know that that's normal. I mean, that's
They
the
would
first
know
time
that
I
it's
know
normal. They would prepare for it, right? Baby showers would be for moms and what they will need instead of just cute baby clothes that a baby will literally share in a week or two. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like people should not give gifts, but
Yeah.
we need to, if a mom creates a nursery, which is a beautiful safe space for the baby, we also need to tell the mom, create a safe space for yourself.
For yourself.
What will you need?
Yeah.
These are the things that you will need. A matriarch has to say that to you.
Yeah.
You know, so that if you are caught off guard, it's really something that you couldn't have planned for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But things like breast coming in 3 days later, if it's common, people need to know. Your family needs to sit down together and say, okay, if the milk doesn't come, let's put 1.5 aside to get like obviously that's probably gonna a tin, just to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No man, zining, and I think we need to, we definitely need to come back and speak about all of these things. Because I mean, I'm a man and I wouldn't know what women need, but now that I know, now that we know, I mean, we need to speak more about these things. And I would urge you to spread the word, share this video, like this video, subscribe. Why am I saying this? Because then these organizations get to have a bigger reach, and this is nourishing and making better our society. I mean, if you can help the lady next door, I mean, like, that's just the best thing you can do right now. So please, help us grow. I'll put on the descriptions links for MumBelu
Yeah.
and your sister organizations. Maybe
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's worth
Yeah.
it. And maybe one day you could hook us up with one of them, so we
Yeah.
can have a sit down and speak on their perspective and so forth. So yeah, please, can we please support Bantu Besialo, please support people who are doing this type of work around your area. This is how we build the community. You are needed. You are the key
Yeah.
person that we need.
Yeah.
Without you, who is watching us, without you, yes, you, we are nothing. And without you, the community is nothing. We need you. We need your peace. We can't wait on the government. I know that mentality must just go. But any parting ways?
Um, yo, I mean, we've said so much,
Yeah.
but I think what I want to say is I commend all moms
Yes.
um, for keeping it together, for doing their best. Um, if you are a mom and you are struggling, I really want to say to you, to it's not you're not weak for struggling.
Yeah.
You're not weak for asking for help. Please do ask for help from community or go to your nearest NGO and see if they can't help you.
Yeah.
And I want to say a shout out as well to single moms.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it. So well done on just doing it, And a special shout out to moms who have babies living with disabilities.
Yeah.
A huge major shout out to you guys. Um, because some of the moms, who have babies that live with disabilities, it's not even a matter of, I can't say it's postpartum anxiety. I can't, it's literally not having people around that are willing to understand the baby's disabilities and maybe willing to babysit for a few hours, and shout out to a colleague of mine as well, Tandekile. She has an organization that takes care of, it's like a school for children living with disabilities. I'm sure I'll share her contacts
Most
as
def.
well.
Most def.
And she also helps these moms as well to, if they like need any mental health assistance and all of that.
Great stuff.
So shout out to moms and to dads that are present and that are helping. I don't know how I would have done it without Tata Kalibo, for example.
Yes.
He has been an anchor,
Yeah.
and shout out to families that are supporting moms.
Yeah.
You guys have no idea the kind of beautiful impact you have on the moms as well as the babies. And shout out to you and this platform.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you particularly for coming at 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 such short notice, because it was. I think I just hijacked you. Thank you for sharing so much. And thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the end of what we have. And hopefully next time we'll cover even more on different areas that we need to touch on. But please like this video, subscribe, and share. From me to you, I'm calling it done.
Okay then.
All right.
Bye.